This is my old iPad, and if you can see, let me check. There's a date here. There's a date. Where's the date? Oh, there. Okay, there. That's the date. That's before 2020. Okay, so I'm gonna go over this one here. I was given, the gifts of the Holy Spirit. It's totally like, how do you call it? Like it's different. There's like a gift of interpretation. So when I saw this, I go like, whoa, there's a Pope receiving a hammer and sickle crucifix from Bolivia president. So I understood that there's something here that's happening in the spiritual realm. So, yep, indeed, I felt it in my spirit, and I go like, could there be a hammer judgment of God? Because that's a hammer, okay. And then this one is a sickle. There's a backstory that you can search up with what happened to Pope Francis regarding his reaction when he received. He was quite surprised that he received this from Evo Morales. So you see, this was the era. This was a time where it wasn't even like there was no shutdown, because 2020 would have been the shutdown when we are this was still 2018. So I already have these things that's coming through me, like getting things. You wouldn't even believe what I'm saying unless you're really like we have the same frequency. It's like saying to somebody and the other person cannot understand what you're saying because you just don't have the same frequency. So it happens with relationships, it happens with family members, it happens with friends. If you don't really jive together, it's because you just don't have the same frequency, because it's all about frequency. Anyways, let's carry on. So yes, I was able to confirm. I went to Google, look at that date again. It's June 8, 2018. Hammer Judgment Bible. I'm looking for the Bible verse, and there it was, Jeremiah. Jeremiah is like a major, I think a major prophet or something like that. But anyways, it says here, Jeremiah 23:20, is not my word like fire, declares the Lord, and like a hammer that smashes a rock? You see this language here? This language here, I could just see all that thing there, fire, because when Sodom and Gomorrah fell, it was like fire. It's a literal fire. That's the judgment. And then the hammer, it breaks up the rock, smashes like a rock. So it's the word. It's like the fruition of prophecy. This word that was written by Jeremiah back then, it's the fruition of that word, and it's the prophecy. So it's looking forward to when that time happens, because I immediately knew that there's a connection between the hammer and sickle, and the judgment. So here, the scythe is also another name for sickle. Scythe is a language in the book of Revelation that's towards the end. So the scythe, it's the separation of the good people and the bad people. The people who are just going to be lost. They just don't understand that there's good and evil playing out. Imagine 2018, and then now the society has just so much fractured. Okay, just remember that. But then now this one is there's a concept now of what's happening in the unseen realm, because there's already the language of angels. So let's carry on. You have the hammer, you have the scythe. Two objects that are manifesting here. Okay, the hammer and sickle crucifix. See, so let's. This is also the time which is very odd, because Korea, North Korea, is also a hammer and sickle communist country, and it's also the same with China, and the same with Russia. And then I think after 2010, they just had this merger, like they being close together. They have it's part of their military strategy that they're gonna be looking at each other's backs. So but that's the thing there. Remember fire, because in the final end of days, the biggest component is something to do in the prophecy of Zechariah, where there's a weapon that just you have you just it just melts your eyes in its socket. that weapon that didn't exist during the time when that prophecy was written. But we do understand in our timeline now that that has got to be a nuclear weapon. It's just like what you see in the movies. Like back in the 80s, we see this Terminator movie. You just say like, okay, Terminator, you see that robots there, but then what happened now? You see already robots. That's what it is. Sometimes the movies are just communicating something that's going to be happening in the future. So between 1980 and then what is it now? It's like 40 plus years, and now we can see all these robots. So here, the hammer and sickle, Russia, that's Russia, China, and then the North Korea. You see that? North Korea. So there's three. Okay, so let's carry on. In the same period of my awakening, I am brought to attention about this church in New York. It's very, very interesting. Why New York? This is the St. John Divine Cathedral. Something happens with this church isn't even how would you call it, like finished. It's continually just build upon it, but it's very odd because if you go and Google or like type St. John Cathedral pillars, I have that gift of understanding what's in there, and I can just see what others cannot see. I can see, but I know there are some people out there who can really see. But look at this. Look at this. It's strange. I know there's going to be like an earthquake. That has got to be Brooklyn Bridge. And it's cars falling, trucks falling. And then I see so the people there, they're looking up. They're looking up something in the skies. And I know this has got to be New York, the stock market, and stuff like that. And then part of these apocalyptic pillars of St. John, you can see these skulls here. That's death. You can see even see the crossbones. And it's very odd. Look at this. What happened? There is the Twin Towers. That's undoubtedly New York. This thing that goes over there, it just looks like a decoration, but I know that is a depiction of waves that will inundate New York. Yes, it will inundate New York. That's part of the judgment. Now, why is it's New York? Well, this world it's run with a money system. And Wall Street, it's in New York area, and then they have that bull. The people always worship that bull in the Bible. There's a very strong figure of Baal. During the time of Moses, they have the worship golden calf. That's what it is, bull. When that Wall Street is going to be judged or is going to be hit by something that's going to be so catastrophic, the dollar system, every other currencies in the world hinges on the health of the dollar. It's going to create a domino effect. I'm just going to say it's going to create a domino effect. Now, let's see what else I can pick up here. Okay, this one here. You have a head of a child coming out of this flower. This flower, that's a lotus. That's a very, very strong symbolic item in New Agers, the occult. Is this one here speaks about the birthing of this Antichrist spirit. That's a birthing of the Antichrist spirit. And I can see, I think, I don't know. I think there's a lamb right there. I can see the ears, and then its legs are tied, so you can see that the Antichrist spirit over the lamb right there. That's the Christian symbolism of because Christians normally identified with lamb for to that's going to be led to the slaughter. So during the Antichrist spirit, it's already written in the Bible that it's going to be so crazy. The Christians will go underground. They're going to be persecuted. And look at the language here. You can even see like a mummified. How would you call it? Like you can see a mummy right there. That's a symbolic of death. Now this one is also in the apocalyptic pillars of Saint John Divine. So I can see actually the figure of the four horsemen. I think there's one, there's two, there's three. Somewhere here there should be like a fourth, and there's like a face of a demon right there. It's the face of a demon right there. Okay, it's judgment on the world. The colors of the four horsemen of the apocalypse are you have white, you have black, green, and red. Those are the countries in the Middle East. Yeah, most of the flags that they have is depicts that color. So go over to the website, just type Cathedral of Saint John Divine, and you will see. If you're probably very close to there, you might want to visit there, and you can see, pray. So at least I think you'll be given understanding. It's not really for everyone. It's not for everybody. The gift, you have to ask that gift of understanding, because that's Holy Spirit led. Again, I say, a lot of people, when I tell about these things, it might be like nonsense to them, but I tell you, some people understand where we are exactly in the timeline.